Um, okay, so hey BeatNIK, thank you guys for hopping on with us today. Super stoked because we have Joel Freeman with us today, and yeah, and we're just super excited to have him. I don't know if you guys are familiar, I would assume that you are, but you might have seen him in the LaMills Pump videos, some of my favorites, but he's now a super trainer with Beachbody, and Core to Force is coming out in November, and he's like, it's going to be a crazy launch, and I'm super excited about that. I know that that's going to be a program that a lot of us do, and that we're really excited for that to come out. So I'm excited to hear what he has to say today. He's going to bring some of his goods with us, talk a little bit about Core to Force, and then we're going to open it up for some questions. So if you guys think of questions as he's speaking, just jot those down, or you can even write them in the chat, and I'll save those for afterward. And with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to him, if that's cool.
Oh, I don't think I have a choice in this matter. So hi, good morning. I guess I can still say good morning, everyone, because it's 10 o'clock on the West Coast, and look, it's sunny. That's why I love living in LA. And my favorite thing about the web chats is I didn't even have to brush my teeth yet because I forgot. So I was freaking out for a second. I'm like, oh my God, I have to talk to people. Then I'm like, wait a minute, never mind, I'm good. So cool, and thank you so much for having me on. And yeah, super exciting. One in the fact that we finally after 19 months or 18 months from the conception to announcement, that we finally get to talk about Core to Force. Talk about a long time to keep a secret. That was painful. But now we can talk about it, and that's great. And definitely want to answer any questions that you guys have about the program and the upcoming launches and sneak peeks and everything, because yeah, I'm sure there's questions. And then also, one of the things that Nikki and I were chatting about before this was the fact that there's like a lesser known fact about me, which is the business side. A lot of times with the super trainers, or just in general, you see us on the fitness side of it, just teaching classes and events and stuff like that. But so before all that, before I actually came to Beachbody full-time as a super trainer, which is still a funny name for me, I was on the business side. I worked in the gym business, the gym industry for since I was 19 years old. So I don't even want to do the math of how long that was, over a decade. And I started at the front desk position, 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. shift, great shift to the front desk, and have since then have done every single position that was in a gym, all the way up to, again, before Beachbody, I was here and working in LA at the Gold's Gym LA franchise as their Group X director, and then took over as their marketing director for a while too. So have done a lot of stuff when it comes to the business side. And the interesting thing about being in the fitness business, because that's what you guys are, you're in the fitness business. It doesn't matter if you're selling home products. It doesn't matter if you're selling a gym membership. It's all the same. You're still trying to create value in something, in a product. And you're also, because you're in the fitness business, this business is considered a optional commodity. And this is the general population. This is the way they think about this stuff, is will pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for these silly little iPhones, yet the gym membership, or the program, or home HD Shakeology is the first thing to go when people say I can't afford something. So it's very optional. And even though this should be, I think we'll all agree to this, this should be, as Carl says, a non-negotiable component to someone's daily life. So to make it a non-negotiable component in someone's daily life, you have to create value, and it's all about the value. And this is something that I've done over the past few months. I've done a lot of coach calls. I feel like I think I've pretty much done almost one every single weeknight for the past 2 weeks, or 2 months, excuse me, and which is great because I love doing this stuff. And I've trained a lot of people, and was doing this at Gold's Gym. I was training all the new employees coming through about how to talk to people and how to create value in what we do. And I've found that this really translates the more I've gotten into, because we did Core to Force, we worked on the product, but then on the other side of it, I've learned what you guys do, and really gotten into the aspects of the coaching business in terms of, what are your vital behaviors? What are you always looking for? And I'm still learning, but I found that there's a lot of similarities to what I used to do in terms of selling gym memberships or personal training or how to talk to people. and what you guys do on a daily basis and what your daily challenges are, which I hear a lot of the time in terms of how do you get someone to stay active in your challenge group? How do you convince people that Shakeology is better than a bag of protein powder? Because that's what people compare it to. How do you, get somebody, how do you talk to cold markets? How do you get outside your comfort zone? Any of these questions sound familiar? Anybody? Okay, you can nod your head because it's a web chat, so I can see you. If I'm off base, you just say no and I'll leave. But it really comes down to the value, and that's what this whole thing is. So what I did is I created a very simplistic illustration, if you will, and which I'll describe. And I think this is a great way, again, personal opinion, but I found that this is a great way to kind of go by a step-by-step process to really think about, are you doing the right things? Are you saying the right things at the right time without, as a lot of people ask, like, well, how do I do this without being too salesy? Because I know a lot of people, as a coach, as you first sign up as a coach, all right, well, what was your background? Well, for instance, if you're a stay-at-home mom of 3 and you've never had to sell anything in your entire life, there is that feeling of I don't want to be too salesy. It's actually very, very simple to do that. So I call it the fitness funnel, and this is my little spiel, if you will, about what a fitness funnel can do in terms of creating value in your fitness products. So there's 2 things that you have to do first, though. You have prerequisites to this before you start anything, before you can actually even think about trying to push products or being a coach to anybody else. Is you have to do 2 things. First thing is you have to figure out what your story is and what your brand is. And this is you personally. This is not Beachbody. This is your story, your brand. And it's, as I like to say, the acronym for KISS, keep it simple, stupid. It's all you have to do. You do not have to get too, you don't have to dive into this too deep. And because people are like, well, I don't know what my story is. I don't have a transformation, or I'm just, again, the example of a stay-at-home mom. And I'm like, that's your story. That's all you have to do, because people follow people. They don't want to necessarily follow a brand more than they want to follow people. And Beachbody is a perfect example where Carl Deichler has more followers on Instagram than the Beachbody Instagram. And Virgin brand has less followers than the founder, Richard Branson. He has way more followers than anybody else. So people want to follow people because they want to see the story. They want to see that personal engagement, and they want to feel like they're a part of something. So as you're figuring out what your story is, just keep it simple. Because that's going to be really what is going to give you the most confidence in what you talk about. And this is a big thing that I hear a lot too, or people ask, like, well, I'm kind of shy. I don't know how to talk to people. How do I get over that? And my answer to it is, I've never met somebody who's shy about something that they're confident in. And if you're trying to talk to somebody about something that you're not truly confident in, well, that's when it does get a little, it can be scary and you're not sure. As opposed to if you're a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids, I guarantee you, I'm sure that person is not shy about saying all the things that they deal with. And Nikki has a 2-month-old, right? You said 2 months? So Nikki has a 2-month-old. So I guarantee you she's not shy about talking about the fact that she hasn't slept in 2 months or before that, and all these different things. And that's what people are going to connect with, is your story. So get away from the shyness, get away from trying to talk about something that you're not familiar with. Talk about something you are familiar with and confident in, because that confidence will come across to people. So that's your first prerequisite. And then the second one is, once you figure out your story, is figure out who do you want to tell your story to and who do you want to talk to. And the answer to that should be really simple. Again, keep it simple, stupid. Are all the people you should be going after like-minded people, your target. If your story is I stay-at-home mom of 2 and I'm working on my business to be independent and this and that, then those are the people you should be going after, the people that want the exact same thing. If you're a person that lost 50 pounds, then you should be going after the people that need to lose 50 pounds, because you know what it was like to be at the beginning stages where they are and to go through this whole journey to get to the end point, or the point where you're at. So go after like-minded people. So you have your story, your brand, then you have your target market. So you have to figure out who your target market is. And the great thing is there are over 300 million people in the United States, 260 million-ish of them are overweight. So you got a lot of people to go after here. And so you don't have to try to hit all of them, but I guarantee you, if you figure out who your target market is, then you're going to be able to narrow it down a lot easier. And then those those people are actually going to be interested. And then this is where you start. So this is where you get to jump into the funnel. And the funnel, we know what the use of a funnel is. You throw everything at the top, and it's supposed to filter down to the bottom with a nice little output. So take a bunch of information at the top, come back down to the bottom. And information is the very first thing that goes into the funnel. So if you're taking notes, that's what you can write down, information at the top. And what the whole purpose of information is to saturate your target market with as much pertinent information about your products, you and your products, as possible. And this is not trying to sell them anything. This is not trying to convince them to sign up as a coach. This is simply giving them free information, as much information as you can, because the purpose of this is to establish yourself as your brand expert. You have to become a brand expert in the eyes of your target market. So once that happens, then they're going to start to see that you might be the person to talk to, right? So you have to establish credibility. You have to establish the fact that you know that you can help this person. So this is why it's at the top of the funnel, because it's the biggest part where you have to throw the most things out in terms of information. And this doesn't mean you have to create new information. Utilize, look at all the stuff, all the products that are out there in terms of Beachbody, blogs, articles. There's so much stuff out there. Just repurpose it and find what's pertinent to your target market. And a perfect example of this is Gold's Gym, because they have on their website, goldsgym.com, they have what's called the Strength Exchange. And you can go there, and it is everything you could ever need to know about getting in shape, workout plans, nutrition guides. I mean, it is so much information, and it's all free. You don't even have to be a member of this. And the reason they do this is because they've been open since 1965, over 50 years. Their tagline is the authority on health and fitness since 1965. And that's exactly what they've done. They've established themselves as the authority, as the brand expert on health and fitness. And because of this, they are the world's most recognized fitness brand out of any other fitness brand in the world. So the world's most recognized fitness brand. So if you go anywhere in the world, that is the most recognized fitness brand, is the Gold's Gym logo. And they're not the biggest gyms. They don't have the most gyms. They don't have the most members, but they've established themselves as the authority, as the experts. And that's what you're trying to do, is establish yourself like that. So once you do that, on the information component is you're finally getting enough information out to where someone finally says, okay, I think I'm ready to take the next step. And I guess like my little caveat to this part of the information is, it's very easy to start to feel maybe dejected or be like, oh man, I put out all this information and no one's getting back at me. And my answer, and then on my follow-up question to that would be like, well, how long ago did you start doing this? And like, well, a month ago. It takes a while. It takes time. So if you're throwing information out, the easiest thing I can say is whenever you're putting something out, never expect a reciprocation. Because if you start to expect a response or a reciprocation and you don't get it, then you get disappointed. This stuff takes time, and you have to remember, take yourselves, all yourselves, for instance. You probably at some point in your life have said, you know what, this isn't the right time. I'm going to do it, but this isn't the right time. So you have to remember that everybody else in the entire country in the world is going to say the exact same thing when it comes to starting something new. So you never know what the right time may be, but eventually they're going to get at you. And that's what Gold's Gym does. They know that if they keep throwing information out, that eventually when someone's ready to take the next step and start talking about needing more fitness advice, they're going to go, the first thing that pops in their head is Gold's Gym. This is what restaurant commercials do, right? You don't see a restaurant commercial and instantly like, oh, let's go, we're going to Outback Steakhouse. No, but eventually when you do get hungry and start thinking about where to go out for dinner, you remember the commercial that you saw. And that's the point of advertising. That's the point of throwing information out. So going down this road, in we'll say it's a perfect world, is now you finally gotten to the point where someone's ready to talk to you. And the next step in the fitness funnel is this person's going to call you, or you're going to have the first contact, and they're going to have an experience with you. So experience is the next word. Experience is really simple. It's either good or it's bad. And if it's a bad experience, then what you simply did was did nothing to change that person's perception about health and fitness and about Beachbody and about Shakeology and about everything else. And they're also, think about a bad experience. You go to a restaurant and you have a bad experience, you tell everybody you know and you put it on Yelp. That's pretty much what happens. And that is what we're trying not to do. We're trying to go the opposite of this, of course. So in terms of a good experience, how do you give somebody a good experience the first time they talk to you or the first couple times they talk to you? And the easiest way I can say this, and here you go. Kids, cover your ears. Shut the hell up. That's it. You got to stop talking, guys. It is not about what you can do for them. It is not about your own story. It is not about all the different products that you have to sell or how much money they can make being a coach. That is not what this is about. At this point in time, the experience should simply be a chance for you to become an expert on this person. That's what you have to do. If somebody is calling you or reaching out to you, what they are saying to you is something or some things are not working in my life, so help me. So that's a huge deal. That's very I just lost the word. Someone's exposing themselves to you in the good way, that they're very opening themselves up, and that's vulnerable. There's the word. Damn, vulnerability is a huge deal. And even though somebody isn't necessarily saying that, but just the fact of asking for help is vulnerable. So somebody's already feeling a little bit iffy on this, and so if you come right at them saying, well, hey, I make this much money being a coach, or you can make this much money being a coach, or so all you have to do is sign up being a coach, and then you can just buy Shakeology and then do this and this and this and this and this, you lost them. And when it comes to this type of stuff, especially people who don't have any background or experience when it comes to Beachbody and their products, the perceptions are what? It's just a pyramid scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme. Shakeology is just an expensive bag of protein powder. Well, okay, it's not. It has a bunch of other ingredients, and we know what it can do for you. But by simply telling somebody it's better or it has more stuff in it, it's more expensive, that's not telling me anything. That's not telling this person anything. So really going after the experience aspect of it by giving them a great experience and becoming an expert on them, they walk away, hopefully, with a good experience, and that leads to a connection. And that's the next step in the funnel, is if you give somebody a good experience, a great experience, then they feel that there's a connection. There's some trust now. You've started to build trust with this person. We haven't even talked about what in terms of sales or anything like that, right? We're not talking products. We're not talking being a Beachbody coach or anything, because this person isn't even sure what they need to do yet. So once somebody feels they have a connection with you, with a trust aspect of it, now you can start to get into, this is in my mind, the funnest part of the funnel is programming, is their programming. And programming does not mean just buying a program like Core de Force, which is going to be the best program in the world. I know that. You guys will find out soon. It's not just about a program. It's the programming of their life, right? So remember what I said earlier, something or some things aren't working, haven't worked up until this point. So they're saying, hey, look, I'm not happy. Help me be happy. So now it's your job as a coach to find out and figure out, what are these things that we can do? What are these things that we can change and start making changes so somebody is going to be happier? And look, the easy stuff, of course, is that people want to lose weight, so they need to exercise and change their diet. That's the easy stuff. That's like low-hanging fruit. But becoming an expert on this person, you need to be really figuring out, like, what are the factors? What is happening in this person's life that is making them do this stuff? At what time, and when you become an expert on something, you should know what time does this person wake up, and how do they wake up in the morning? Is it an alarm clock, or is it 3 screaming children? Like, that would lead me to drink in the morning. So you got to think about, like, what are all these stress factors that are causing this person to do the things that they do? And it's, again, low-hanging fruit is diet and exercise. But think about it, you guys, the world is so messed up right now. And think about the economy and the politics. I mean, we're losing our freaking minds in the world. So, there's so many stress factors that are out there that, let's start thinking about the little things that could be easily tweaked or changed. If someone's drinking 5 sodas a day, all right, man, let's go down to 1 soda a day and see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, there's just these little things you can do. So this is really where it comes into becoming an expert on them, really thinking, like, where you sit down after that, you talk to them and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to get back to you in 3 days because I want to really think about this. And for those 3 days, you sit down, you look at all your notes you took about this person, and you say, what are the things that we can do to make short-term, realistic, achievable goals? And 2 weeks is my personal favorite. This is what I used to do with clients and whatnot. I would say 2 weeks. So if they have a goal of 50 pounds, I'm like, great, we're going to break this down into 2 week increments. 2 weeks is a great amount of time. 1 week is a little too short, but 2 weeks is great to start to see something, right? Physiological changes, mental changes, whatever it is. I feel that I think 2 weeks is a great time to do this, but it's short, right? So someone, that's like me saying I want to become a high jumper, and then they, okay, great, jump over this 8-foot bar. I don't even know if I could jump. So let's start at the 8-inch bar and then move up from there. Right? So let's not give them these huge hurdles to jump over at the first point. So if someone wants to lose 50 pounds, I'm like, great. You think you can lose 5 pounds in the next 2 weeks? Like 5 pounds? Yeah, sure, I can do that. Great, do it. And then they'll do it and they'll probably beat that. And then when they do, and this is when it comes into your vital behaviors, one of them is recognition, right? Then you make a huge freaking deal out of it. Like, awesome. How cool is this? So now this person feels accomplished. And they feel like they can actually do this, as opposed to saying, okay, you want to lose 50 pounds? I'll help you lose 50 pounds. We'll do, for the next couple of months is what we're going to focus on. That's too long. Make it a lot easier. We talk about attention spans and look at people's attention span is getting less and less. I think social media is a great tool to measure attention spans. And if you guys remember, like MySpace, that was kind of like the first social media thing, like where you had to build your own page and all this stuff. And then that was too much. So then it became Facebook. And then that was too much because there's too many words. So then it was Instagram just for pictures. But then that's too much. Just a picture's too much. So now we have a 10-second freaking Snapchat. Like, that's people's attention span. So you have to think about 30 days is like MySpace. And then let's go down to, 2 weeks is like Snapchat. So, measure it in terms of attention spans that way, or just an idea. So basically what you're trying to do in the programming is get somebody results. Now, that's the bottom step of the funnel. And is if you get somebody to see results, if they get some sort of result out of what you've talked about, then at outside bottom of the funnel, you can write in all caps value. Because if somebody sees results, then there's value in it. And all of you guys are products of this. You have all seen some sort of result from something that you do with Beachbody, whether it be a coach or Shakeology or a program of Hammer and Chisel and whatever. And you're all going to see amazing results in Core de Force, but there's results there. So because of that, you believe in your head, in your heart, in your soul, that this is valuable to you. And this is where you're trying to get somebody to, right? So the reason I kind of put it into this is because I feel that this is the process that we've all gone through at some point or another. And you have to get to the point where you see something in it. And again, it comes back to the value of it. And as opposed to just trying to convince somebody that this works, this is marketing 101 was what we learned a long time ago in marketing was people were always going to ask, what's in it for me? We call it WIFM. What's in it for me? So as opposed to just saying, you can lose 50 pounds, or you can make a lot of money being a Beachbody coach, and you can have financial independence and this and that. Those are just words, man. We got to put the results where our mouth is. So that's really where you want to go and really take people down this path. And if you feel like you miss a step, or if you feel like you're having to overcome price objections, that means you need to back up a little bit and back off and go after the more important aspects of it, which are giving somebody the great experience and then really let them see results. So that's my little spiel, just a little spiel. And I'm going to take a drink of water now real quick.
That was so good. While you take a drink of water, I was gonna quickly we talk about this a lot, and I think that I tell people all the time, it's almost like that 3 to 4 month mark as a coach. You realize that like their 3 month mark, they either are gonna do it or they're not gonna do it, and most of the time it's because during that 1 to 3 month time, they weren't giving it time the way you talked. Like they were expecting something back right away. They post something, they want something back right away. They talk about their challenge group, they expect 20 challengers. They talk about coaching, they expect to go diamond in 10 days. Like it's just not something that is feasible. But with consistency and the time and branding yourself and putting yourself out there, providing free groups, free information on your pages, like all of those things build value in what you do as a coach. And I just think that this goes perfectly with the idea that, you know, I think Beachbody's always said, be here in a year and just see like what happens in a year of consistency. And it takes that, but there's just so many people that want that like right away. They just want to, you know, they want to be 15 star in a year, and it's just hard to do. So I love this. I think it's perfect for what we talk about. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. And look, you know what, there's a great point that you said that I want to reemphasize is, you know, as a Beachbody coach, because this is exactly the same thing in terms of what a personal trainer has to do. They have to start from scratch. They, as a personal trainer, when you come in, they're starting from scratch. They don't come in with an existing clientele. So they have to prospect. They have to talk to people in the gym. If they're working for a gym, or if they're an in-home trainer, then they have to go cold prospecting. Like, it is very, very challenging. And I dealt with a lot of trainers coming in, people coming in that were certified, some of the smartest people. I mean, they knew, like, yeah, we both had the same certifications, but they actually remembered everything in the textbook. I barely remember what I had for dinner last night. So, but they had so much trouble trying to build up a base. And it was because they would get frustrated really easily. They say, well, I talked to 20 people today and nobody was interested. I'm like, dude, if you talk to 20 people, you need to multiply that by at least 5 and talk to 100 people. Because when we start talking about this stuff, you guys, the closing percentage is actually really, really small. And I know that can kind of sound daunting and a little disappointing, but in the most cases, when you start talking to people about this type of stuff, especially because you don't know especially if you're going after them, if you're initiating the conversation, if you initiate a conversation about something where somebody may not necessarily be at that moment in time thinking about it, your closing percentage is probably going to be like 1% at that point, just to get a lead or a prospect. So think about that. If it's a 1% closing percentage, you need to talk to 100 people a day to get one person a day. And so work backwards with that. And I know that, again, it's like, oh my God, 100 people a day, and that times a month, that's 3,000 people. Absolutely. I mean, that's what you got to do to get people involved on this. And look, it does take time, but the more you put the information out there, that's when it can start to come back and it can really work. And social media is great, and you can use it as a great tool to help you. But it does take time, and it does take effort, and you might lose sleep over it, and you might have to get up a half hour earlier in the morning or go to bed a half hour later at night if you have a full-time job. And somebody asked me that last night on a different call, and the only thing I could tell them, they're like, well, how do you find time? I'm like, you don't find time. There's only 24 hours in a day. You're not going to find an extra half hour in 24 hours. Like, there's no such thing as 24 and a half hours in a day. You got to make time for it. You got to lose the sleep. And my favorite saying, I don't know if I came up with it or I just heard it somewhere, is I've never met a well-rested millionaire. It doesn't exist. Like, I've never said, like, hey, I get 10 hours I mean, maybe eventually you'll get 10 hours of sleep, but not right now. I don't get 10 hours of sleep, but I'm also not a millionaire. So, you know, I got to keep working on it. So it takes time. It takes effort. It can be daunting. And, you know, but if you really, truly believe in this, it will work. And you just got to keep plugging at it. You got to keep working at it. I mean, you know, been working on, you know, with Core de Force and all this stuff. I mean, we're going 18 months from conception to launch, and, you know, it comes out in November. So from the first conversations that we had to put this program together is going to be 2 years. From the first conversations to launch date is from November 2014 to November 2016, 2 years exactly. So that takes time, man. That's effort.
And that's the other thing, is like, it can be daunting, and yeah, you talk about like these numbers and the closing numbers being like super low, and that is frustrating in the beginning. But the thing is that all that time and effort you put into those people that said no or aren't at that point, they're just not ready, they're going to continue to watch you in that next month and the next month and 6 months later and a year later. So all of those who ignored the messages, who weren't there or weren't ready at the time, weren't ready to invest in their health, if they see you're consistent in the business and you're not going anywhere, if they see you got results with the program or the products, then they're going to come back and they're going to say, okay, you know, 6 months ago I wasn't ready, but I am now. I mean, I can screenshot probably 50 messages in the last month of people saying, whether it's a challenge pack or Shakeology or coaching, who have been watching for a long time or I talked to years ago. So it's kind of like a revolving wheel. If you're always having conversations, you're always going to have people coming back around.
I agree. What she said.
Anyway, so I don't know if you want to move on and just talk a little bit about Court of Force and give us like a little bit more lowdown. I know we're like always getting information from Beachbody, but it would be great to hear from you.
Yeah, aside from the fact it's the coolest program ever made. So you guys, and look, you guys have been coaches longer than most of you have been coaches longer than I've been involved with all this stuff. So I know you guys have gone through program launches before, and you're going to get more information as you keep going. But I think right now, pretty much only thing everybody has seen has been the 90-second little sizzle reel, right? I think. Okay, cool. So and that doesn't tell you much, and that's what's kind of been interesting about this whole thing is this program came out, and we knew what was going to happen. We knew it was going to get compared to things that have been existence or already existence. And look, Jericho and I came from the world where we were in Les Mills Pump, and then we were which is kind of funny too, because people are like, oh, they're from Les Mills Combat. Like, no, we weren't in that program. We represented it, being Les Mills certified trainers and instructor, and going around the world and doing it. But more importantly, Court of Force is something that is unlike anything that's ever come out before. And the reason for that, the reason it's like that is because we went really back to the drawing board. And so what Court of Force is basically, your top sheet of this is a total body transformation program. And it's I guess you could say Court of Force is an MMA styled total body transformation program. We went and were very careful and very sure, and it was in our brain the whole entire time, from concept to implementation to filming everything, that we wanted to stay as authentic as possible in the MMA world. So, one, Jericho and I, we've been working together for over 10 years. We're best friends. Her husband is my best man on Sunday when I get married. Like, we've been together forever. And, we've been in the world of group exercise longer than that. And so we really wanted to, how do we bring the energy for what we love to do? If you've ever done a live events, you know that it's very energetic, and we wanted to say, okay, how do we bring that into, how do we get that across to film? It's challenging sometimes. And then also of the world that we love, which is MMA world. We love boxing. We love kickboxing. We love going, and I get up almost every morning and go to the boxing gym and get my butt handed to me. And I love it. I absolutely love it because it's such an amazing workout. So we wanted to bring the authenticity of the MMA world to the home viewer. And so we really stuck with this, and we worked with some amazing people. Like, we worked with our Muay Thai coach. This guy is Muay Thai master and beats the crap out of me all the time. And, we asked him, we had him look at every single move that we wanted to put in, every single combo that we put into Court of Force. And if he said it wasn't authentic, we took it out. And so we stuck with that. But with the MMA style training, this is the type of stuff that will happen to you, or what you would do is if you go into a boxing gym or kickboxing gym and train from a fitness perspective. So this is what's really cool about it. So we took off, and to do that, we had to change a couple things to what people are normally used to. The biggest change, I think, is the fact that we took it off the beat. So we took the music component out of the equation first, and we filmed the entire thing without music, because this is how you box. This is how you do MMA combos. You don't do it to an 8 count. You do it to your own pace, and which is a very important aspect of this program, where everybody starts at their own level. There is no beginning level. There is no intermediate. There is no advanced. There is simply your level, because you will progress as you go. And in the MMA world, that's how it works. If you're a 6th degree black belt, well, there's a 7th degree. You're going to keep going. Like, you never actually graduate any of this stuff. You just continue to advance, and you continue to improve. So by taking it off the beat, you're able to work at your own pace. Now we did, and it worked out even better than we could imagine, is we went back in after that we filmed all the workouts, and then we worked with the composers, and they composed music choreographed to the workout itself. So now the music, as opposed to the workout going against the music, now the music is actually behind your workout, and it's driving your intensity as you go. So as the intensity builds, so as the music, as it brings it down, the music drops too. It's kind of cool. It really worked out better than we actually even expected. The other thing is we took it into the 3-minute world, 3-minute round structure of the boxing world. So boxing rounds are 3 minutes. And then this is where the biggest fitness component and biggest change comes in that's unique to Quarter Force is we put in interval training into each 3-minute round. And Jericho is a huge fan, way more than I am, of high intensity interval training. HIIT training is hard, so I don't like it. But we wanted to bring in MMA style training, but also HIIT training. So what you do in each 3-minute round is you go 60 seconds of some sort of MMA combination, whatever it is, jab, cross hook, blah, blah, blah. 60 seconds to work on this combination. 30 seconds, we throw you into a high intensity spike. It's a very simple move, whatever the move is, very simple. Don't have to think really hard. It's just something. And the best news I could give you is there's no burpees in Quarter Force. You're welcome. But there's going to be some other moves that you might hate more. You're welcome for that too. So you do 30 seconds of the spike. You go back and you do the same thing again. 60 seconds of the same skill, 30 seconds of the same spike, 3 minutes total, interval training in every single 3-minute rounds. And the first workout of the program is 6 rounds, and we build you all the way up to 12 rounds. So you want to talk about caloric burn, fat burning zones. Myth of fat, there is actually no fat burning zone. If you're moving, you're burning fat. It's the type of fat that you're burning. So when we go higher intensity, you're burning more fat from a specific source as opposed to lower intensity. So we have you working at different intensities so you can burn more fat total, which is great, right? That's kind of the point. And this is not this is not a weight loss program. This is a body transformation program. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to just lose 30 pounds and not any, like you might lose, if you want to lose 30 pounds, okay, great. You might lose 20 because 10 of it just became muscle. So the scale isn't necessarily a great way to go on this. And we saw this in our original test groups. Jericho and I ran test groups on this for 3 months, January through March of this year. January, February, March, can't do math. And she and I we had 2 test groups. We taught 2 test group classes a day. She and I were there from every single class. And then we're watching the coaching test group happen right now. And it's not about the scale, man. We're seeing people that maybe lost 5 pounds, 10 pounds, but when you see the inches, when you see what happened to their body, it makes your jaw drop. I still can't believe it. And we had one guy that he was a bigger guy. He lost over 50 pounds. But he lost over 70 inches, total inches of his entire body. I was like, that's a person at that point. That was crazy. So it really comes down to what this does for your body. We have strength training components in it, resistance training. We use your body weight against you in ways you never thought was possible. Really went into the world of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and ground game and grappling for this. So you're going to be doing some cool moves. There's no such thing as regular crunches in Quarter Force. Those are boring. So we're bringing you into the world of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So you're doing some really cool hip escape type movements and movements that you are turning and rotating your core the entire time. And this is what's really going to shape your body and strengthen your core from the inside out. We start at the tiny little muscles that are attached to your vertebrae and then come all the way out to the outside appearance. So that's a couple things. There's a lot to it.
I'm so excited about it. I think it's, Mandy just asked a question. She said, do we know when the sneak peeks will be?
I do, and they're on my calendar. Let me open my calendar because I don't want to tell you the wrong days. So there are technically 3 sneak peeks. The first one is for the elite, Beachbody elite coaches, I believe. That is actually next week, September 22nd. Is when that one's happening, elite sneak peek. And then for everybody else, so for anybody that's on Beachbody On Demand, October 3rd and October 24th. Monday the 3rd and Monday the 24th. Now that's obviously barring technological issues or whatever. So that's what everything is tentatively set for. So, I'm sure you guys will get confirmations for that coming up. But those are when it's set for. And then, November, the month of November is exclusive Team Beachbody only. That was a really cool thing that Carl and everybody decided to do, was give you guys the program for an entire month before it even comes out to the public. I think that's huge. I think that's going to be awesome for you guys. I hope that helps you guys in terms of your business. And I think that especially with the having two sneak peeks, which is great too, instead of just one. I think October is a great month to pitch the Beachbody On Demand 30 days free. I think that's a phenomenal time because you have two sneak peeks of a brand new program coming out, so you can get people, as if they're on the 30-day free trial, they'll get to see the sneak peeks, on top of everything else that's going with Fixate and 3-week yoga retreat and all that stuff. So there's a lot of content to push. Gen program won't be available till December, so it won't be available for non-Team Beachbody until December.
Yeah, so that I think what
right?
that means, what I'm thinking is that they can purchase it. Our customers can only purchase it through us in November and not through the other Beachbody website so it's allowing us to be able to grab as many customers as we can and say, hey, we've got this only, like you can't get it there. So, to get it through a coach makes more sense, which is what we want.
Whatever helps you guys, because it'll help us in the long run. So I do know, I don't think anybody's asked this, but I know people have been asking about the nutrition component of this as well, of the program. And two things I forgot to mention is, one is the nutrition component, and two is the modifier. So there is a modifier in every single workout. Her name is Jessica Talby. She was with us from the beginning and has done a phenomenal job. And we really wanted to make sure that this was attainable and doable by everybody. So there is a modifier on the Beachbody On Demand. If you guys saw Carl's thing a couple weeks ago when we were filming a couple extra workouts for BOD, they're doing a little picture-in-picture split screen, similar to what they did in, I want to say like Max 30. I think Sean T did that. Somewhat similar to that, but a little bit more on the tech side now that we've progressed over the years. So people have the option of turning on the modifier screen, and she'll stay up the entire time throughout the workout, so which is really cool. But let me just say, the modifications don't necessarily make this program easier by any means. We are able to use the breakdown of the moves and take impact out when needed. Obviously, this is a higher intensity program, so that means that there might be some, there are a couple higher impact moves, nothing crazy, but we wanted to make sure that we gave people options. So, there's a lot, most of the time you're standing up, which is great. So lots of people can do it, even with knee issues and things like that, but that's what the modifiers are. So, and in terms of nutrition, we had a lot of fun working with the nutritionists at Beachbody. These guys, Denis and Ani, those two are absolutely smartest freaking people I ever know when it comes to, like, I don't know how they remember all the nutrition stuff. It's really cool. But we worked with them and really got to play with some cool aspects about this because it's a higher intensity program that gives us a lot more freedom to work with a bit of carb cycling. So we get to change your carbs as you go. Because it's higher intensity, your body's screaming for more carbs. It doesn't necessarily mean you need more protein. It means your body needs carbs. So we got to carb cycle you a little bit, not too crazy. You get to eat more based on your goals. So there are, for everybody, there's a sliding scale in the nutrition plan where you can adjust your calories based on what your goals are, which is pretty cool. So
is it using the containers still, or is it?
No, so there's no containers. But it's still based on the color coding measurement system, which pretty much every program is now, which is great, because that really simplifies things. We went back and forth with the containers. I'm personally happy we didn't do the containers just because I hate cleaning those stupid things. So and I don't have 42 of each one, and I eat a lot of food. So the measurement system I really like. I think it's just in my opinion, it's a little bit easier. But that's because I eat a lot too. So, when we were filming this, when we were in the prep, because we did the exact same food plan that is in this program when we were doing the test groups, and we had to amp mine up a little bit because we were teaching 2 a day and on our own workouts. So I was just over 4,000 calories a day of clean food, and you guys, you have no idea how much food that was, and I was still losing body fat and shredding out. Like the pictures that we did for the marketing assets, that was 100% me on this plan. It was really, really cool. Like, it was better than I even imagined it would be. I look at those pictures, I'm like, damn, I want that back. But it was pretty legit.
crazy.
yeah, so no equipment or anything in the base kit whatsoever. You don't need equipment. You don't need gloves. You're punching air. Stop putting gloves on. That's silly. And when you do get down the ground, you need to have wrist control too. So don't wear gloves, please. I'll make fun of you if you wear gloves. How about that?
That's perfect. I think it was like a hodgepodge that you did last year in October at Leadership, but you were both on stage and I was there for that workout and I almost died. It was so hard.
Well, that was just us having fun. We were just messing around. Like, I mean, live events are great because we love live events because that's our forte. That's what we do. And with live events, we can do whatever we want. Like, there's no set anything. There's no music issues. There's no nothing except for the super workout we had to. But when it's just a local event, we can do whatever we want. So we really have fun trying to kill people.
Yeah, it was really fun. We had a late night and then we had that early morning with you guys and we were all looking at each other like, oh my God, we'll never survive. That was really good.
Leadership this year, is obviously a big deal. So if people are going to leadership, we're really excited about this because one, we get to teach core to force. So if you're at leadership, all of our workouts are going to be a core to force workout from the program. We're going to be teaching you guys that. And then, 400, we signed 400 kits, autographed 400 kits this last week. So there's going to be 400 core to force kits for early sale at leadership, which is really cool too. So we're super excited about that. And then right after that, we go on I don't think it's been officially announced yet, but whatever, I'll tell you guys. We are on the next weekend, we go on an 8-city tour in 3 days, pushing core to force. So we're going to have a lot of fun doing that too.
Yeah, Super Saturday.
Yeah, the Super Saturday we're hitting 8 cities in 3 days. So
that's what Autumn did, I think. That was crazy.
I think she hit 7, so we're setting the record.
There you go. Yeah, we had her here and she was like in and out and we had 2 other cities that day. Awesome. Does anybody have any other questions about that? I feel like he answered a lot of basic questions about the program and a lot of things we didn't know. Anybody?
I'm that clear.
Was that good?
Come on, nobody has. You guys have questions, you liars.
I know. Sometimes they're too shy.
Beachbody coaches are not supposed to be shy.
No.
What did we just talk about at the beginning of this?
They'll have. Let's see. We can start anyone on this. Yeah. What would you recommend? Like, is there anybody that's like, what if they've like not worked out? Would you honestly say start here or no?
I think, look, great question. I think we designed this to where anybody can do it. And that's when it comes to the modifier and when it comes to the fact that everybody can work at their own pace. So just because the combination is the same thing, it doesn't mean that people can't work at their own pace. So if somebody is, and we had a couple of big people in our test groups on both sides. On the test groups Jericho and I did, and then actually the coach test groups, we have a couple of big guys in there, and they're killing it, man. So it comes down to one, in a physical aspect of it, everyone needs to consult with their doctor if they have any sort of issues first. That's the overall disclaimer, generic disclaimer that we have to say. Check with your doctor first. And then if your doctor says do it, then man, go for it, right? And this is not something that someone they might look at it from, the 90 seconds of that sizzle and be like, oh, I got to lose weight before I do this. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And I hear that a lot when it came to teaching classes. They're like, well, I can't come to your group exercise class until I lose 10 pounds. I'm like, you're an idiot because this is going to help you lose 10 pounds. So it is all about options. That's why we put the options and the modifier and everything into this workout. So long answer to a short question. Yes, everyone can do it. Based on their own, they just have to go at their own pace.
Okay. Rest day?
There is no rest day. It's a 30-day program, so we got to get you going, right? We wanted to, remember what I said about short, realistic goals. So we only have 30 days with you, which I love. I love the fact that it's 30 days.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah, right? Like, 60 days, yeah,
we don't have any program right now. Like, we have 21, which is almost like, that's great, but I think just like an extra week is good.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to pull up something you guys can look at. So it is 30 days, and I want to pull up a picture real quick that you guys can see. But besides being 30 days, it's also on day 7 of the workout calendar, you guys do have it's called active recovery, and active recovery gives you a chance where we do stretch you out. We're, Jericho and I are both big proponents of stretching. I know I need to stretch more, but it really does make a difference. So we stretch you out, but then we also work on your form and technique. And what's great about this is it slows you down in active recovery. So we're going to work on the moves and the things that we know could really, here it is. Sorry, I was trying to find a picture because it's really cool. That we work on the moves like this, switch roundhouses and things like that. We use actually what the modification move is, which is a step back, step forward, and put that in the active recovery. So you're working on your form and technique while you're stretching and recovering. So it's a little dual purpose on that. So yeah, no break, but you just go for 30 days straight. Joy asked, what's my favorite workout at Core de Force? Oh man, that's hard to say. I mean, Jericho and I wrote all of them, so we love all of them. There's a couple moves in there that are probably my least favorite because they're freaking hard, but they work really well. I don't want to tell you which ones they are because I want you to decide for yourself. But I think my favorite workout of Core de Force is probably what's called MMA Shred. It is very Muay Thai inspired. We took a lot, what I love about Muay Thai kickboxing is when you're in regular boxing and kickboxing, you're just using 4 points. You're using your hands and you're using your feet. When you get into the Muay Thai world, you start using your elbows and knees. So you have 8 points. So you go from 4 to 8, which I absolutely love. So we got a lot of elbows, a lot of knees. It's really cool. The picture I wanted to show you guys, I hope you guys can see it, is, so I'm giving you a little insider. I think Greg is posting this on his regular Facebook too, but this is one of our guys from here, I'm going to do this. This is from the coaching test group. So you can see on day 1, on the left, I guess might be your left side.
Wow.
And then he is 21 days into this. He's not even a full month into it. So is changing his body every single day.
That's crazy.
Kind of cool, yeah?
Yeah.
So his name is, let's see if he posted this. Yeah, he posted, this is the private test group page. So I'll give you a little sneak peek into that. But, I mean, it was phenomenal. So we had a lot of cool stuff. Let me see. I'll show you one more in case, if you guys want to see this anyway. I'm popping stuff up. This is fun. So one of our guys named that was in our original test group was named Glenn Wiley. And he did an absolutely amazing job in this program. He came in, he loved to play basketball. He was a bigger guy. He just kept going, but he just knew that he had to like do something about his weight. So, and he was a chef. He still is a chef, actually. So, he obviously gained a little weight being a chef. Hang on. Sorry, guys. I know it's here. I want to show it to you because what he did was absolutely amazing. He's one of the guys that lost over 50 pounds doing this, which was really crazy. Let's see. Just changing test group. There we go. Let's find the pictures. Dun, 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 dun. Any questions while I'm finding this? Sorry.
You're fine. Odette asked, what are the personalities like? Is like somebody the tough love and like somebody the nice one, or are you guys, how does it work?
Good. Do we do good cop, bad cop?
Yeah.
Sort of thing. I don't well, maybe. I don't know. I might get in trouble for saying that. So Jericho her forte is technical coaching. She's an amazing teacher and instructor, and when it comes to being able to really break something down to a point where you understand it, you get it, you see it, she is a master at that. So she brings that out in me and makes me be a better coach and teacher. And then I think the other side is I'm like the goofball motivator guy with the bad jokes and, whatever it takes sort of thing. Here it is. So I think I bring that side out her. So I think that's one of the reasons why we play off each other so well is she brings the professionalism out in me and I bring the goofball at her. But the personalities are what you see is what you get on that. We didn't change anything. All right, here we go. This is Glenn. So Glenn, final before and afters. Here you go.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
50 pounds.
Over 50 pounds.
How many days? Is it just the 30 days or did you do multiple rounds?
So he actually ended up doing 3 rounds. So he did 90. He did the full 90 days with us.
Okay. That's crazy.
But it was really incredible. And some of the people that like I put on my Instagram yesterday, Ben, who was in our test group, this was only 30 days.
Oh, wow.
So it's what it really does to your core. It 360 degree full body rotation movements. It shapes your core in a way you never imagined. And this is, and I guess the way to kind of sum this whole thing up is core de force makes your body work in ways it never has done before or ever had to before. So that's going to make your body respond in a way it never has before. So as opposed to just doing this, that's why we took out crunches and took out burpees. Like we was like, let's change it up. Let's make it different. And let's make it fun at the same time.
That's crazy. Yeah, those are awesome. Okay, last question. Yeah. How many different workouts are there?
There are, oh man, I can never remember this. MMA, 1, 2, 3, 4. Dynamic power. I have to do math on my fingers. Sorry. 8 to 10. I can't remember off the top of my head. I haven't had enough coffee yet today, or maybe I've had too much. There are 8 to 10 in the base kit, and then in the deluxe there are. And in the deluxe, I know they threw. I know they did throw the containers into the deluxe kit, and then we also threw in the Beachbody ladder, which I believe is familiar with that from Insanity and things like that. And what we make you do on that ladder is pretty cool.
I hate the ladder.
I would definitely suggest getting the deluxe, not just because not the containers, but is if you want a challenge, and especially once you do core de force, the first 30 days and do the base kit, get the deluxe, man, because then you will find just when you think you're getting it, we throw a ladder in the mix and, make you do some Brazilian jiu-jitsu on the ground with a ladder in front of you. It was pretty cool. We had a lot of fun putting that together. And then Jericho takes you through I think it's called MMA butt kicker. And it absolutely, your butt is going to hurt for days on that one. So we had a lot of fun. We put a lot of cool stuff into this.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. And that's perfect. Like, I think you could do the base and then when you're ready for round 2, up it a notch and do the deluxe. That's perfect. So anyways.